Welcome back, everybody. I am in the office. You might notice we're not recording in the other room like I sometimes do, but that is because we are going to be talking some astrology as it relates to the spiritual path, spiritual practice, magic, and how you can use astrology and observe your own chart to enhance your workings. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how the moon phase you were born in can tell you a great deal about how your energy flows at its best and what you might want to think about when it comes to your technique in order to get the best from your own abilities. Now, for the purposes of this video, we are going to need to, of course, load our own astrology charts. And I have left a link below to a free service that I really do like for people who are not professional astrologers, and that, you know, it's very accessible, it's very easy to read, everything is nice and big. We're not really going into super detail on every aspect of your chart in this particular video, so you don't have to worry about getting overwhelmed by everything you're going to see. But it is going to help us for the purposes of this, and I will refer back to this. I myself am a professional astrologer, and I do use other tools, but I don't think that people who are not professional astrologers should go out and spend $250 to $300 on an astrology program that they're not going to have pay for itself. So use the free program. It's generated by astrotheme.com. It's a really good site, you know, and it'll help you to see a little bit more detail as to what is playing out when it comes to, well, your own birth chart. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is load up your chart. Get your birth date, time, and location of birth. Time is not totally necessary for this particular exercise, and so if you are not sure what your birth time is, don't worry about it. You can leave it unknown if you want. However, for most astrology, you are going to need to know the time of birth within a 30-minute approximation for accuracy. But for this, you're not going to need to. So, you know, don't give yourself a hard time if you don't have it. So we've got my chart all up here for anyone who's ever wanted to see my chart. And of course, I'm using the same program as you guys are going to be using. September 11th, 1985, 9:45 a.m., born in Redmond, Washington, home of Microsoft, Nintendo, and Xbox. As you can see, all of my goodies are here. We've got the sun in Virgo, Libra rising, as well as a moon in Leo. Now, I was born during what is considered the waning moon phase, or more specifically, the dark moon phase. Now, the way I determined that is I was observing, well, what was the moon's relationship to the sun, and did the moon look like it was approaching the sun or going away from the sun? When we are looking at any astrological chart or any astrological wheel, the vast majority of celestial bodies and items that we're looking at are moving counterclockwise, anti-clockwise. And there are some exceptions to that rule, you know, especially in the case of, say, retrogrades or the North Node, but the moon doesn't go retrograde. If the moon went retrograde, we're going to have some serious tidal calamities. No, we're not dealing with that. We're just looking to see what is the moon doing with regards to the sun. If in that counterclockwise, anti-clockwise motion, it looks like the moon is moving away from the sun, then you were born during a waxing moon. If it looks like the moon is approaching the sun or moving closer to the sun, as it is in my chart, then you were born during a waning moon. If the moon is in the same sign as the sun, you were born during a new moon phase. If the moon is in the sign opposite the sun, then you were born during a full moon phase. We'll just leave it at that for now to keep it simple. Now, a bit of a refresher on how moon phases work, how they operate, how they affect the energy weather around us. The new moon and the waxing moon are all about attraction, new creations, growth, new seeds being planted, new beginnings, pulling things into your world. The full moon and the waning moon are all about transitions, culminations, release. The waning moon especially being focused on banishing, clearing, and removal. So when we look at how this plays out in your chart, you can see, well, where your own spiritual work, your direction of energy, your workings, your spells tend to be their strongest. People born during a new moon or a waxing moon phase have a tendency to have most of their best results come from attracting new things, creating new things, giving birth to new things, and growing and amplifying things. Whereas people born during the full moon or the waning moon tend to be strongest when it comes to removal, clearings, purgings, banishings, and exorcisms. And it's not to say that a person born during a waxing moon can't remove things or can't eliminate things from their life, or that a person born during a waning moon can't attract things, or, for that matter, it's not saying that a person born during a full moon can't create new things, or a person born during a new moon can't create transition. But it's where you are strongest, where your skills lean in the most, right? It's kind of like any basic mundane skill. I can draw. A lot of people have seen my illustrations. Some people haven't. I like to keep that to myself because I already share so much of my own personal talents and skills online. I want something just for me. But I can draw. It's one of my natural skills. It does kind of run in the family. My older brother can draw, and I do love illustrating. If I wanted to go and learn how to play the piano, I could do that, right? I could go down to the college, I could take night classes, whatever. But my natural skills, my natural abilities are in illustration or psychic work or cooking. And that's how it works for me. You want to take this philosophy whenever you are assessing your spiritual skills in astrology. You don't want to get put in a box. So for me, being a waning moon person, the most positive change happens in my life when I subtract to add. And when I look back at a lot of my spells and a lot of my workings that I've ever done, the ones that had the greatest impact, the ones that always precipitated the fastest and most desirable changes, did come from a lot of elimination work I was doing, whether they were cord cuttings, banishings, exorcisms. One of the things that attracts me so much to Shinto and Onmyodo, for that matter, is that a lot of the workings that happen there with their charms and their rituals and their ceremonies and their spells is that it's almost all very specific and very sophisticated road opener, exorcism, and block busting work. Because in Shinto, it's not just about creating something that's going to magnetize the person, the space, or the opportunity for you. It's actually working in another direction. It's purging, purifying, and clearing away everything that is standing between you and your desire. That's just where I am, DPS and tank at the same time. And you may find that even if that is seemingly very focused and very narrow, remember, it is subtracting to add. People born during the waning moon tend to have a lot of positivity always attracted to them, but their role in this life is to eliminate the obstacles that would block them from coming forward. Whereas people born during the waxing moon may have an easy time being a magnet for just about anything. And it's very easy for them to, if I want to go out and manifest a new job, or I want to go and attract a new partner, or I want to draw, money into my life, or I want to attract new support for this business, or I want to move, or whatever, they tend to find what they're looking for very, very fast. They've always got options, and maybe releasing can be a bit more difficult, but it is possible to master as well if you are a waxing moon or new moon person. Just as attracting and manifesting can still work for full moon and waning moon people, but you are going to need to probably put a bit more energy and a bit more work into it. How your magic and your abilities operate at their best, with working in conjunction with understanding the moon phase you were born in, is so valuable as far as information is concerned, because you may be finding that the changes that you need to make in your life could be happening a lot more smoothly for you if you work with your own grain. If you are somebody trying to banish everything and yet you find out it's easier for you to just attract new things, attract substitutes, and attract and grow what you want, then you are probably going to find that you are a new moon or a waxing moon person. If you find that you have a lot of positivity coming into your world, but you can't seem to enjoy it, you're probably a waning moon person, and it's time for you to do some elimination work. So think about what is going on in your chart and how that might help you adjust your own spiritual and magical strategy accordingly. And of course, it does not begin and end with the moon phase. I've actually got a very special video that I'm working on that I hope to come out with here very soon, adapted from an event I did with Nadia Shah a while back about how you can use the moon as well as your Neptune and your Pluto to identify your natural born spiritual skills in your astrology chart. But that one's going to take a little bit more time, so take some time to study your moon phases until I get there. So I hope you guys found this helpful. This was just a little chat to help you understand a little bit more about how your mojo works naturally, what your energy is born to do when it's at its best, what your greatest strengths are. Thank you so much for dropping by. I'm going to close up the video now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. Of course, engagement helps this channel out a lot. And stay tuned. We've got more talks about astrology and magic coming soon.